morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I'd like to tell you about business opportunities. We are an information systems consulting company. I will focus on AI, and this is about learning from data to give better responses to the new challenges. Let me tell you about us, Basetis. We are a consulting company developing IT solutions with over 300 employees. Organizational-wise, we have a very participatory structure based on the self-management, the local decision, and distributed intelligence, also, and the evolution of the purpose. We want to grow more and better, and we want to have a social impact on our surroundings. We are headquartered in La Pedrera, a very symbolic building. This is our headquarters. We have many more, well, 300, because we're all doing home office. What do we do? Well, technologically speaking, we have different areas. We really have everything: AI, data, projects, business intelligence. We have a creative advertisement agency. We also have a very big team of people developing data, mobility, cloud infrastructures. We have a small video games team, and then especially people who specialize in business and management, and a legal team. And sectors in which we've worked, well, nearly all of them: pharma, banking and finance, utilities, telcos, publishing houses, culture, media, retail. I'd like to highlight here public administration and the third sector. As it's been said today, the digital divide, especially in the third sector, especially with the pandemic, well, it has been aggravated. So we try to help as a company. Now, moving on. Learning from data to find better solutions. This is the main topic of today's presentation. I will just focus on 4 notions, and I will give you a series of examples. Some background information. Where do we stand? What is going on? We've seen some graphs throughout the morning. This is the trend. This was a projection for 2025 of the AI market in the world. This is from 2017, and I'm sure it didn't take into account the pandemic effect. We are quite sure that it has sped up the process. Another report by PwC from 2017, per economic sector, the different bubbles are the short, the mid, and the long term. The impact of AI, and of course the first bubble has been exceeded because it was 3 years. We are in 2021, and we've had a pandemic in the meantime. Why do we stand where we stand today? Well, it's a consensus. Data are an asset. The data sources have increased, and the data volume, and this is connected to the computing capacity. And there are libraries, open libraries and algorithms that have promoted this change.
Millors respostes, no? Com les dades ens ajuden a trobar millors respostes.
Better responses. How do data help us in that? Responses for which questions? Well, there are 4 types of analytics. Descriptive analytics. The question is what has happened and what is going on. And then diagnostic analytics. Why has it happened? Predictive analytics. What can happen? And prescriptive analytics. What can I do for that to happen or not to happen? For example, this is an example we have applied at Basetis for online media. Well, out of all the articles that are published on a daily basis, which ones have been most widely read, how many subscribers do we have, diagnostic analytics, which articles resemble others, which are the articles that are being liked the most, well, a diagnosis of the situation, predictive now. Before you publish an article, when is it best to publish it? On a Saturday, when people follow a different rhythm, or morning, afternoon, and what's the likelihood of that article being successful? And prescriptive, if I add some advertisement, well, which segment of my users do I have to target instead of massively publishing? AI, how can AI help us? The difference between the human capacity and the machine capacity. In terms of machine learning, where you process huge amounts of information, well, algorithms fare better, so it's worth using them. In terms of optimization, which is the best way? How can you optimize or minimize its use? Algorithms are better, but humans can find good despite suboptimal solutions. And cognitive systems, well, here we do better than machines. This is an actual use case. Machine learning, predictive maintenance. Basically, if you've got a factory production, if you listen to the noises in the factory, in the plant, you can detect an abnormality, a change, and you can do predictive maintenance. Optimization. Because of the COVID, you know that the sitting capacity of cinemas, theatres, pavilions, etc., has been restricted. So how can we maintain the sitting capacity with the current restrictions, with your living bubble, etc.? Well, algorithms solve that very quickly, and that's very important in terms of income. Well, if you can keep 1,500 seats and meet the restrictions. Very similar. What have we done at Basetis? We want to go to the office, but the office has a limited capacity, and there's a 4-people team who would like to go to the office on Monday. They book it on the corporate calendar, and the algorithm books a room for them. And of course, you still meet all the social distancing restrictions. Another app that we've developed, Smart Routes. In this case, when you use the GPS, if you are walking, you will get the shortest route. It's a matter of optimization, but there are similar routes that are more pleasant. So why not? Or in terms of crowds, if routes are too crowded, well, give me an alternative to avoid those crowds and reach my destination. Cognitive systems, that's another app. I'm currently projecting this and talking to you, and probably I'm being recorded. So through transcription, we can get the transcription of my text, my presentation, and my speech. And not only that, maybe let's say that I speak for 45 minutes for you, and then you want to look up a term, a concept that I have mentioned, for example, pediatric asthma or children's asthma. Well, the app tells you in which part of the video you will find that concept. Data. Data can be of our own, or they can be supplemented with external open data or external private data for which you have to pay. Well, you don't really see that. Our own data. Well, for example, you have the Netflix algorithm that makes recommendations to you depending on your consumption. Well, the likelihood is higher for you to like what I recommend to you. open external data to be able to foresee how many people will attend a specific game. I will take into account my own data, the history of games against that specific team on that specific day of the week and time, and then include weather data, traffic data to enhance my prediction. And then private data. Here we set up an engine, a search engine for rankings. This was for medical practitioners. These were specific medical and biomedical papers, some of them public and some of them private, to end up with the best results. As for data, not all of them are alphanumerical data. We've got text, image, video, and audio. Structured data, this is a use case. We've got accelerometers in these boxing gloves, and we want to classify, so basically foresee which hit will be delivered during training and whether you performed properly or not. Text, well, you can get to know the topic of a paper, summarize it, and know whether it will be liked by a user. Image and video could be applied today. If I was recorded and we were recording the audience, we could identify the faces and know whether you're paying attention or not. So we could have a feedback at the end of the session about today's seminar. And audio, well, a smart home, you've got a series of sensors which can listen to the noises, music, advertisement, and determine whether there has been an accident and set off an alarm. Thank you.